Hello, everyone. So great to see you here. And I'm excited to be talking to you about your energy level, your body, and your sleep today. But before we get started and we get everyone hooked into all of these platforms that we're on, please feel free to get into the comments section right now and let me know where you're coming to, where you are in the world. Let me know who you are, what you're coming in for, and what you're excited to hear about today. And I would love for you to kind of rate yourself overall. How are you feeling right now in this moment? How are you feeling? Scale of 1 to 10. There, I see June and Barry. Put a 1 to 10. Where are you today? You guys put those in the comments, and I'm excited to start getting everybody to a 10. There we go. We've got a few coming in. This is great. And so everyone put in a scale of 1 to 10. So I see somebody at a 2. We got to do something about that. So I'm hoping the information today is going to move that number up. Thank you for sharing. Portland, somebody 6, sleep issues. We're definitely going to be talking about that. Let's get that 6 to a 10. I see a 6-ish. So let's make the 6-ish into a good 8, 9, or 10. That's going to be the overall. I see somebody at an 8 overall. That's pretty good. That's good. It might be because you slept well last night, or it might be for other reasons. Hopefully, you're just so excited to hear what I have to say today that brought you right back up to an 8. Good. Let's wait just another second for those that are joining in, and we will get into the depth of our first in the series of these 3 topics. After that, we have others that will be looking more at brain, looking more at your overall relationships and how that affects us, and many other areas that are important to our overall health. So I see somebody at a 7.5. I love you guys that give me exact numbers. Not a 7 or an 8, but you give me a 7.5. Love it. So we will be moving the number, and hopefully you'll be tracking it. If you start using some of the tools that I'm going to give you and be talking to you about, or at least excite you to find out why you're not a 10, then we want everyone's numbers to move forward. Sounds great. Now I know I've got to wait just another little bit of time, and then we're going to get started. Unless Tarna is part of my team. There's Tarna. Tarna is excellent. She's helping me get my messaging out to the world and is teaching me all about this social media business and all the things that we need to do to be able to bring it all to you. So Tarna, is now a good time for you to start, or should we wait just a little bit? Oh, Sharon said
Nope, we
she
still have
heard the
people coming
question.
in.
Sorry. The question was, give me a scale of 1 to 10 right now. Put it in the chat. Where's your overall? How do you feel right now in this moment? 1 to 10. That's what we were asking for. There we go.
Awesome.
Okay, now Tarna.
Thank you so much, Dr. Worden. All right. Well, thank you all for being here with us today. As you may know, today is the beginning of Dr. Worden's 3-part health series. We will have a couple other sessions coming up for you, one here on Sunday and then another one on this coming Wednesday. So definitely stay with us throughout today's broadcast. We are live on multiple platforms. So let us know again, for those of you that are joining, where you are joining from, what city, state, and country. Tell us again what Dr. Worden was asking. How are you feeling today on a 1 to 10? Are you feeling like you woke up amazing today and you're at that 8, 9, or 10 level? Or are you really feeling like it's the end of the week and you need a little bit of help and a little bit of love, and life is just kind of hitting you from all angles? So again, for those of you that are joining from multiple places, please share that with us. And it is awesome to see people joining from everywhere right now, from not only all of the different platforms, but from all around the world. So today, what we want to make sure that we share with you is that when you are informed and empowered with the knowledge and information that will be shared with you, you move into a place of taking charge of your health and making more inclusive decisions. Dr. Worden collaborates with major institutions and researchers around the globe. So to have her here with us today with direct access to her, let's just say we are all incredibly lucky to have a human like this in our world. Has put herself into a unique position to share and utilize leading edge information and treatments that are novel and yet scientifically sound. Dr. Worden is a well-seasoned network television talk show host. She has a master's degree in broadcasting and was featured on the cover of the National Speakers Association magazine because of her ability to not only educate us, but to inspire change in people. In addition to Dr. Worden's research, medical practice, and consulting, she also offers seminars, health masterminds, and retreats around the world. So if anyone is interested in talking with Dr. Worden, don't hesitate to reach out to her directly or her team. A lot of us are standing by to make sure she is in good hands and you get responded to right away. In today's session, you will be educated, empowered, and enlightened by her suggestions for your overall health and wellness. Please help me welcome Dr. Worden.
Thank you, Tarna, and thank you everyone for being here. I am very excited to talk about three important pillars of your health today. Sleep, which is a key to longevity. We're going to be talking about your body, and we're going to be talking about your energy level. So rate yourself right now in this moment, a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you? And if you're not at a 9 or 10, or you can't explain why you're not there, we've got some work to do. My purpose today is to really let you know what is normal, what you should be striving for. And then it will be up to you and hopefully up to me to educate you in many ways that you can increase those numbers and make them a lot higher than what they are. So rate yourself 1 to 10 and let's get started. Sleep. We're going to talk about that first. It is the key to longevity. It's been shown in studies. If you're not sleeping well, you're not going to live as long and not going to be as healthy. So it's very important for us. So you need to ask yourself the question, do I wake up feeling rested and energized and ready to go for the rest of the day? If you're not, and you're having to get a cup of coffee, you're having to do something and struggling to get out of bed and struggling to have that clarity that you need in the morning or be energized, then we need to look a little bit deeper at your sleep patterns. And I'll talk a lot about common versus normal. People will say to me, well, doesn't everybody have sleep problems? Doesn't everybody wake up at 3 a.m.? Isn't everybody kind of sluggish in the morning? Those are common, but they're not normal. So I want to challenge you to take yourself out of, well, everybody else has this, so it must be okay way of thinking and into what is normal and where should I be? So let's start at about how much sleep do you need? There is a gene that a very small percentage of you might have. That's not worth testing in my mind, but it's if you have that gene, you need less sleep than other people. But for the majority of you, for an adult, 7 to 9 hours, 7 to 9, not 6. And saying, well, I'm okay. 6 is not enough to be at your best health and performance. And it will vary a little bit between people, but 7 to 9 hours is your goal. And it's a general rule. The younger you are, the more sleep you need. So, yes, as we age, we need a little less. That's what we've been told by conventional sleep wisdom. I'm going to challenge that right here, right now. Is that just common? So, we've made it that as we age, we need less sleep? Or is that normal? Or is it possibly that our brains aren't aging as well as they should be? They're shrinking, which we know they can. They're not functioning as well as they used to. That's a sign of aging. But when we learn more about brain health and we get our brains into a better way of functioning and healthier, I believe we should stay from 7 to 9 hours as we age and take out the excuse of you're older, so you don't have to sleep as much. The optimal time for you to go to sleep? That's the next question. Well, some of that's going to depend on your schedule. It depends on your family life and your business. But in general, the midpoint of your night's sleep should be between midnight and 3 a.m. So what does that mean? That means if you go to bed at 10 p.m., for example, the 2 p.m. would be your midway, your 4 hours in, let's say. So that's the way to judge it. So take a second. When do you generally go to bed? And think about, should you vary that time from when you're waking up so that that middle part, that midsection is between midnight and 3. Take just a second. Now, if you're tired during the day, there's a couple things that you may need to think about. But one thing is maybe you do need a little nap, but a short nap. And when is the best time for that? It's in the early afternoon. In fact, not naps can spike our growth hormone. That's a good thing. So if you feel during a certain day or your sleep wasn't as good as it should have been, or you've got more stress, if your body's telling you need a nap, take a nap. But set the alarm for 20 to 30 minutes. Longer than that's going to affect your nighttime sleep. Next question I get a lot is, what about these wearables like the one I have on my finger? Here's my take. I think they're excellent for us to get some data, get some information about what's happening in you, your activity level, your sleep patterns. I think they're great. Do we need to wear them all the time? And do I think we should? I really don't. If you love it and you like it and it helps you in your patterns of life, go ahead. But having these electronic devices on our bodies, we just don't know the long term of them. But they seem to be safe so far. And I ask my patients and people I work with, when we're trying to figure out real patterns, activity levels, sleep patterns, I like the wearables. And what do they tell us? Sleep efficiency is one of them. Sleep efficiency is the percent of time that you spend asleep versus awake while you're in bed. So you could be laying in bed and not sleeping for 3 of those hours. Your sleep efficiency is not going to be very good. But if the percent of time is in the proper range, that's a good thing. Here's a couple of questions to ask yourself. If it takes longer than 20 minutes for you to fall asleep, that is going to decrease your sleep efficiency. Remember, you're going to be in bed longer than you are asleep. Shouldn't take you longer than 20 minutes. And I'm going to bring somebody up in a minute that's going to give us a great way of helping us fall asleep. And the other is, if you fall asleep in less than 5 minutes, in other words, your head hits the pillow and you're out, you're done, and you're gone, you were probably overextended and overexerted that day. Those are, again, common things, but not normal. The next thing that some of these wearables will let us know is restlessness. Now, you could ask, if you have someone sleeping with you in the bed, they're going to tell you, you toss and turn all night. You're going to know you're restless. But without that feedback, you won't know. So restlessness is the time, if you're restless, it doesn't let your body restore. If there's too much movement, that tossing and turning, you're uncomfortable, the sheets aren't right, the bed's lumpy, it's too hot in the room, or you're getting up to use the restroom, all of that is going to cause more daytime sleepiness and cause you not to have the energy that you need. Things that can also disturb this ability and cause more restlessness is you're eating too late at night. Your bed partners are snoring or making noises that are keeping you up, or your pets. Noise is a big one. And light. I encourage you to make your bedroom as dark as you can. And the general temperature that you should be sleeping is between 60 and 67 degrees at night. Yes, some of you may feel that's kind of cold, but that's the place that our bodies sleep the best. Let's talk about REM sleep. You're not going to know that without a wearable. And REM sleep is the rapid eye movement. Why do we care how much we get? Well, it has to do with memory consolidation, and it has to do with dreaming and creativity. All of those are important activities for our brain and for us as a human being to kind of take things that have happened in the day and consolidate them in memories that are appropriate and good for us. somewhere between 5 and 50% of your total amount of sleep should be in REM sleep. So about how much of that? It's usually about 1.5 hours of your total sleep should be in REM. And what are the main things that will lower your REM activity? Caffeine, especially caffeine later in the afternoon or at night, or any kind of stimulant. Alcohol does it as well. Next is deep sleep. It's the most rejuvenating sleep stage. We need it, and it should be anywhere. It's common is 0 to 35% of your total sleep, but we really want 1 to 1.5 hours every night of your total sleep should be in your deep sleep mode. Now, if you don't have a wearable, deep sleep is the stage if somebody tries to wake you up, it's hard for you to wake up. It's hard. You were probably in a deep sleep stage. And if you're the person that says, I'm a light sleeper and everything wakes you up, you're probably not getting into deep sleep, or at least long enough or deep enough. What happens in deep sleep? Your heart rate slows down, your brain waves slow down, your muscles relax, your blood pressure drops. All those things are good. When that's happening, your muscles actually build and repair. They become stronger. Your immune system is actually bolstered. And your brain detoxes. Yes, it detoxes. It actually flushes out toxins when we sleep and we're in this deep sleep stage. That's a good thing. We want to protect our brains as we age, especially. When does deep sleep happen? Mostly in the early part of the evening. And how do we help deep sleep? How do we know that we can help ourselves get there, especially at the beginning? Keeping your sleep consistent time. Go to sleep the same time every night, or at least close to that time, even on weekends. When you vary that, your circadian rhythm, your body's clock says, I don't know what just happened. I don't know if I'm supposed to be asleep or awake. Your body doesn't know to produce melatonin, its own sleep hormone, which, by the way, gets triggered by that darkness that I'm talking about. And so keeping your time consistent, decreasing any long naps that you're taking, and decreasing that caffeine. So the thing that can increase it is exercising every day, or at least moving. So those are great pointers for you to be able to do. But let me tell you about something that I think is the least invasive, doesn't cost much or anything. It's about utilizing music. And we have an expert here that we're going to bring on, Barry Goldstein. And letting those of you who might not know, Barry is actually my husband. But I'm going to introduce him because he works with Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and many other leaders in the field of brain health, meditation, and they're utilizing his music for a reason. He's written a book, he knows the science, lectures on this, and we're really lucky to have him join us right now. So, Tarna, can we bring Barry on? Fantastic.
Hi there.
Hi.
Great information. And I look forward to letting people know as well that there are choices that we can utilize, including music, as you said, is low cost, non-invasive. We've heard about pharmaceuticals, we heard about nutraceuticals, and now I'm bringing more awareness to acousticeuticals, are when music and sound can assist us in targeting specific states and bridging different states. And that's really where music comes in, and sleep. And you talked about the body circadian rhythms, and really nothing does this as effectively or as powerfully. I won't say nothing, but music is just very, very powerful in allowing us to reset our circadian rhythms, because music speaks to our body, and our body can synchronize to music. So our internal rhythms, which are our heartbeat, can actually synchronize to the tempo of music, and this is called entrainment. And when we target our heart at a relaxed state, which is between 60 to 70 beats per minute, we can wind down in the evening utilizing music. And a majority of the research that's been done with meta-analysis has shown a couple of things with music. One is that tempo works really well in moving us into sleep states, 60 beats per minute. In addition, long tones, so not music with a lot of melody, because our mind tends to want to decipher that, and that gets us more into our thinking mind than our sleeping mind. And also, you don't want to listen to music with lyrics, because that moves us into more emotional states where we don't want to be during sleep. So my protocol, as you know, is about an hour before bedtime to start to play this type of music. And that's what most of us really don't do, is we don't wind down to music and we don't wind up in the morning. We know that it can get us to sleep, but that is critical that hour before we go to bed and when we wake up in the morning, that not a lot of people are talking about. So us type A personalities with big visions, and we're on social networks till late at night. Are you taking that time to move into sleep, and are you reviewing your day? So this is where mindfulness comes in. We talked about how music can affect the physical body, but most of us get to sleep, but we don't stay asleep because we haven't processed our day. And this is where bringing back the sacredness of sleep is important. So review your day. What have been your challenges in your day? What have been your successes in your day? Be grateful for your day. And you'll find that you won't wake up as much in the middle of the night because you're already processing your thoughts. And same thing on the other end, when you're waking up in the morning, if you're waking up thinking about those same things and just moving into the day with your daily stresses, then you're setting yourself up for having lower energy. Start your day with a piece of music that's going to be the groundwork for your intention for the day, to inspire you or to relax you. Ask yourself where you are now, where you want to go, and what piece of music is going to take you there today. So I hope that's helpful.
That's very helpful, Barry. Stay on just for a second here. I see a comment from June Klein, who I know that you know. She said, "I smell guitar, bridging sleep." So she's that's what she does for a living, for her passion. She's a speaker, a keynote speaker, and uses humor, and that's great. So I wanted to bring up something that you talked about, Barry, is
Sure.
that we know that using music to bridge us before we go to sleep is very important, but the studies also show that being on big screens, television, social media, on our phones, that blue light right before you go to sleep, that's going to interfere with that deep sleep. Remember, the most restorative sleep. So how would you suggest, by having the music on, not having that blue light going? Putting a device off to the side and having the music going, or as old-fashioned CD players. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's like you don't have to necessarily be giving your full attention to the music. You can have it on in the background to create an ambiance and just have it gently playing. And you start to train your body every day at that same time. Your body starts to say, wow, okay, now it's time to move down to sleep. And we know that, okay, why does 60 beats per minute work? Well, it works because it takes our heart into what's called coherence. And that when your heart is adapting at 60 beats per minute, it is sending out smoother and more orderly rhythms to the rest of your body. And this allows you to move into a parasympathetic state where the body is now relaxing. It has the ability to restore, to rest and digest, a host of benefits, as well as your body producing the beneficial hormones that are there for sleep. So your body, as you know, is your own best pharmacy in terms of doing that. And here's the cool part, is that when you're in those smoother, coherent heart states, what's happening, and new research is showing this as well, that our brain waves are moving into a more conducive state to sleep as well. So normally when we're in our busy mind, and where most people still are at sleep, they're in their beta brainwave state. And we want to eventually get to delta, which is a much slower brainwave. Well, in between that is alpha and theta. So most of us are going from that busy beta and trying to get to delta very quickly with nothing bridging it. So when we're in these smoother, orderly heart rhythms, our brain begins to connect with that. This is called neurocardiology. Now, it's a new study that's going on right now, and it's showing us that the heart slows down, the brain is slowing down as well. And that bridges us more into sleep. And all you have to do, like I said, is put it on gently in the background, just like you light a candle in a room, and you know something's going on, but you don't have to look at that candle to get its benefit. There's an ambiance that's created. And you train your body over a 30-day period to reset your circadian rhythms with music.
I know that will be very helpful for everyone. Barry, thank you so much for joining us. And I will say, Barry mentioned that you want to wake up in the morning to start your day. And when I do a lot of live corporate events or events for people and I'm on the stage, I have them mimic what they do in the morning. And so it was like, if you say you don't have time to exercise, yes, you do. And I have a whole playlist a fun one that we put on. When you're washing your hair, you could be doing knee bends. When you're brushing your teeth, you could have your leg up on the counter. So music is a great motivator, not just for sleep, but for getting up, which is going to take us to our next topic, which is body. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. Thank you. So let's talk a minute about your body. Here's the question to ask. Do you like, not what the statistics and BMI and all that says, I want to know, do you like the way your body looks and the way it feels? Put it in the chat, 1 to 10. Let's take a look at it. So the question is, if you don't like the way it looks or the way it feels, you need to ask yourself, do you understand why? If you know what it is, then let's motivate you to take care of that. Eat better, exercise more. But if you don't know what it is, that's working a little bit deeper into the topic to say what could be keeping you from having that 10 body that you desire. So you need to say, are you too thin, or do you have a little extra weight on there? And are you soft, skinny? You may say, well, I'm skinny, I'm thin, but I'm soft and I don't feel strong. I feel weak. And as we age, we lose muscle and we lose our balance. Those are two very important things to help us as we're aging. So those I'm going to give you my basic things that I think are best for us to do to make sure that we're holding on to muscle as we age, increasing it in fact, and to keep our balance nice and strong. So your metabolism slows down after 40 years old every year. If you eat the same amount and you exercise the same, you're still going to gain weight. Your metabolism is slowing down. So we have to move more and we have to eat less sometimes. And the other is, where is that extra weight if you have it? Is it mostly in the belly? You may say, I'm thin, but I've got a little tummy on me. Most of you are going to be familiar that stress and cortisol, that stress hormone, will pack it in right there in the middle. And one that I think a reason that's often overlooked, it could be a fatty liver or a fibrotic liver. I had a device called a FibroScan in my office and did a trial with it for a while. And now I still refer a lot of people to have this done and in clinics near them, is that I had young people, I'm talking 17, 18-year-olds. They'd never had alcohol, no drugs. They were athletic. They ate healthy and they had fatty liver. There is something, and that's a whole nother topic that we'll talk about at a time on the environmental side that I think is really hitting our liver. But a fatty liver can make your tummy have a little pooch to it too. And so that's something you might want to look into. Diet, we all know, is important. Then you're going to say, well, which one? I'm going to say, I think the most important thing about diet is that you rotate your foods. So you don't eat the same foods every day. Some of you may have tested to see if you have a food sensitivity or an allergy. You're going to stay away from those foods, obviously. But if you're eating the same foods every day, you may be missing out on vitamins and minerals that are in other foods that you're not eating. The other reason is it's hard to eat 100% clean and organic, just hard to do. So you're also rotating the pathogens and the toxins that are in our food. So you're not getting the same amount from the same food all the time. Rotation is important. If you want to lose some weight, ketogenic, and again, these are things to think about. You need to talk to your healthcare professional or make sure it's right for you. But I like the ketogenic diet. It's the diet that we put our oncology patients on. I work a lot in metabolic cancer work and with researchers and with a big processes that we have going on all over the world. But the ketogenic diet is helpful for brain health and for cancer. And it helps with weight loss if you're doing it right. If you are not testing and know you're in ketosis, I think it could be working against you. If you say, well, I did it and I lost weight, but if you weren't testing, you probably would have lost weight just because you decreased the carbs and you cut out the sugar. And you may have been missing some key nutrients that were needed. So for long-term ketosis, you better make sure you're doing it right. And you can ask, I'll do more on that later. Something that's new that is good for everybody is Mediterranean. It's called the green Mediterranean diet. What does that mean? Mediterranean is all the good oils and fish and, a little bit of meat, but lots and lots of vegetables. And I agree. Most of us are not getting enough vegetables. 5 to 6 servings the size of your fist is what you should be getting at a minimum every day. But the green Mediterranean diet is green tea. Green tea has so many health benefits, and adding that to the Mediterranean diet is looking very, very good in studies. So more veggies, less carbs, no sugar. So you say, what if I want my little sweet tooth? Well, monk fruit and stevia are the ways to go. They're non-nutritive sweeteners, and we don't know the long term of them even. We don't know. So if you can do without sweeteners, great. If not, those are the two that I would recommend. For more protein, animal protein is still a better amino acid way to get to build muscles, just a little faster and better. It's hard to do it without animal protein. And that's controversial for a lot of you, but I'm letting you know that fish and turkey and chicken, if you are having trouble gaining or maintaining muscle, you may need to really consider adding some meats back in. Pea protein, if you're going to have a drink, is a great one. In fact, I was part of the team that brought that to nutrition. We didn't know about it. First product that came out with pea protein. I was part of that, the discovery of that. Now let's talk about your training real quick. What should you be doing? Remember, we want to maintain or gain muscle mass because muscle burns fat, makes us strong, and we want to keep our balance. Interval training 2 or 3 times a week. I have many videos out there that you can find on that, but it's pretty much could take you 5 to 6 minutes. That's it. So you do have time to do it. You go fast and hard for a little bit, and then you back off and go a little bit slower. I have the details in other places, but interval training I think is very important. Resistance training. You need to add resistance to your muscles to build them. It could be bands, it could be some different yoga poses, and it can be weights, but don't be afraid of resistance training. No, you're not going to bulk up and get too big and look big. That muscle that you're gaining will help you lose weight. And for balance, I love yoga. You can dance, you can do yoga. There are many wonderful, great ways. So the biggest piece is don't sit too long. All of that will not replace the fact if you're sitting all day, all day, you're not going to regain with the yoga, the strength training, the getting on the whatever you're doing, interval training. It's not going to take away a lot of the negative effect of sitting. So don't sit too long. And I'm talking over an hour at a time. Get up and move. If your bones are needing some strength, if you're osteoporosis or osteopenia, or if you're at risk, I like the Power Plate. It's a great device. It's the only one that has the real technology behind it. It's the one that I recommend. My staff can probably put some of these links in there as we're going along just to make it easier for you to find things. But Power Plate is great. And if you need the workers that are coming to build the house with the power plate and with your resistance training. MK7, it's a type of vitamin K. We can put that in there as well. That will help you build. And I've had many of the clients and the patients that I work with take themselves out of osteoporosis and osteopenia into normal bone mineral density. And your traditional doctors might tell you that's probably impossible, but it's not. We see it over and over again. We can do it. Hair, skin, and nails. I'm sure that's going to come up as part of body. And I will tell you for that, I really like collagen. And there are a lot of collagen products out there. It's become very, very popular. I've looked into the ones that were clinically trialed. We'll drop that into the chat for you guys too. There's different types. Some are specific for bone and joints. Some are for skin and hydration and for your nails, and some are just a general collagen for the overall body. I do like those. There's a professional line from Vital Proteins that I really like, and I want you to look into that. And the last thing about your body and your skin and how you look is don't put bad things on it. If you're wearing makeup, if you're having shampoo, you're doing all the things that we all do, at least look up and see if it's toxic or not. One of the websites that I utilize is EWG for Environmental Working Group.org, and they rate certain ones, and they are looking at it from a toxicity standpoint. I created a natural line that I love. It's so clean, you could pretty much eat it. Dr. Zenskin will drop that in there too. And that I can tell you is a very clean line. What you're putting on your body is very important. So let's go to the next section. Next one, energy. If you're not sleeping and you're not exercising, it's going to be poor, right? Or you're going to be wired and tired. You're going, your brain's going, you're going, and you can't shut it off, and it affects your sleep. So adrenal is a big area to work with, and that means your little adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys. When you tell them to run from the bear all the time, they finally go, I can't do it anymore. They start shutting off, and no matter what you're doing, how many supplements you're taking, any of this, it's not going to work until you start taking care of them. There are great things and great supplements that can help you with your adrenal. I like adrenal. I have an herbal adrenal product we'll put in there that I like that's safe for everybody. That one I really like, but I love enzymes. Enzymes are what your body naturally makes and has that gives us ATP and energy, enzymatic activity. You hear about it in everything, not just in our bodies. And I utilize a lot of enzymes. Enzymes can be specific for your breathing. They can be specific for if you have inflammation. They can be specific for different areas of the body. I generally recommend a digestive enzyme when you're eating a meal that has cooked food in it. So you're not asking your body to take what energy it has just digesting your food. You'll get more of the good things out of the nutrition out of your food. It's going to help you break it down, assimilate it, and absorb it. And it helps you not use your energy trying to do that. The systemic enzymes that are for overall body, those are fantastic. And most athletes know about it. And now everyone needs to know about it. You want more energy, start looking into some enzymes. We have some pre-workout. People say, I do something, I drink a lot of caffeine before I work out so I can have the energy to get through the workout. That's not a bad idea if your adrenal glands are okay and caffeine's not going to be a problem and it's not late in the afternoon. But there's different supplements that you can look at have less caffeine and a little bit of the other vitamins and minerals that will help you get through that workout easier. I think ATP Ignite is one that I like for that. B vitamins in general, a good B complex. Now, if you have an active cancer, I don't think you should be taking a B complex. You'll have to dig in with your healthcare practitioner. But for everyone else, the B vitamins are fantastic. They help many things. They're healthy, and they may give you some good energy. If you're going to drink Coffee, I like Purity Coffee or Bulletproof or any of the coffees that they are testing for mycotoxins. That's the molds in the coffee. Very important to make sure you're not drinking something that has bacteria and molds in there and can make you worse. You can still have your coffee. You can do a half decaf, half caffeine. You have to know if caffeine is helping you or if it's just kicking your tired adrenal glands and making you more tired. Give you energy for the moment, but you crash afterwards. Not great. So remember, for your body, we're going to need exercise. You must do something every day. You can walk in nature. You can do stretching. There are things you can do. There are no restrictions to whatever restrictions you may have in your body. So if you have something that's bothering you, you can't do a certain kind of exercise, there is something that you can figure out to do. Also, for your energy levels, look at your hormones. I dive deep into hormones with the people that I work with. They can interfere greatly with your energy, your body, your brain, with everything, but they also can be some of your best helpers. So you want to make sure those are balanced. And if they are converting, many of you may be, especially males, take testosterone, and some females, but if it's not converting to the active form, it may be just making more estrogen and going down some other bad pathways. M Drive is a product that I like. I actually did a short little clinical trial for them. They had proved that it gave energy and helped convert testosterone to the active form in males, but then they had to prove it for females. So I actually ran that little short study for them, and it does give energy if you need to convert the testosterone where it needs to be. And you don't have to be taking testosterone. Remember, your body's making it on its own. We just want it to go where it needs to go. So I think it's about time. Tarna, do you think for the Q&A section, those are quick bullets and things for you to think about, but I want to get to your questions.
There are a lot of questions coming in, and I have been marking those. So any of you that have been holding on to a question, please make sure that you share it with us so that Dr. Worden can have an opportunity to address it. I'm going to start back up from some of the questions that came in a little bit ago, if that's okay, Dr. Worden.
Are they in blue there? Are they the ones that you highlighted in blue?
Yep, you got it. Exactly. And
Okay.
on the very top, if you select starred, it's there for you too. The first one that we've got that you may want to comment on, and it's going back to the part of when you were talking about sleep. I'm waking up between 1 and 3 a.m., Heather says.
Right.
Can't fall back asleep.
Yeah. So that's a great question, Heather, and that's a common one, but remember, not normal, and back to common, not normal. Between 1 and 3 a.m. in Chinese medicine means something, and 3 and 5 a.m. means something. And so in Chinese medicine, it has more to do with unresolved emotions. So it's liver and lung, and that is unresolved anger or unresolved grief. So I want you to kind of think there could be something that happened in your day or is happening in your life that might be disturbing those emotions. That might be part of it. Another reason can be the cortisol, that cortisol that I'm talking about is rising in the middle of the night instead of going down like it's supposed to allow you to look at that, to sleep. So we can test for that. We can test to know what's going on with the cortisol. The other would be blood sugar, that you're not stabilizing your blood sugars. It's spiking throughout the night. It's called the dawn effect. When you wake up in the morning, blood sugar is too high, and that may be a piece of what's going on too. So those are 3 good reasons for you to think about. All right. Next
Awesome.
one. Don't use using a wearable using Wi-Fi's. Yes, they do. And that's why I said, Molly, that I'm not sure that I want everybody wearing wearables all the time. Some people love it and they need it for motivation. But for me, I like it for periods of time to figure out what's going on. Is something different? Is your sleep off? Are you feeling tired? Is there something that we can see in that wearable that will give us information? So you are turning your Wi-Fi off at night. That's smart. That's great. But if you're going to use a wearable, you're going to have to go that direction. All righty. Worry about muscle and bone loss. Right. So we talked about that, Diane, a little bit. That power plate. I know they're expensive. I think they're on sale right now. They may be whatever it is on their website. I try to match for you guys or do better if I can, but they're over $2,000 and you're usually over $3,000. You can find a gym that has a power plate, vibration machine, and do that. And then that MK7 I'm talking about. So, Heather, big time stress and anxiety. I'm 50 and a full time caregiver for my mom, and everything in my life feels like it's on the back burner. That is common. And I'm going to say not normal for us, but it is, right, Heather? That's called the sandwich generation. You may be taking care of mom and kids, sandwiched in between. We all are somewhere. We're taking care of someone. And the take home for you is that you cannot help anyone else if you're not healthy. You must take care of yourself first. It's like, on the planes, you put your mask on first before you give it to the child. This is the same thing. I want to encourage you. You think you don't have time, but you can. I know you're caring for your mom, but maybe you can do some stretches, do some things with her, do some activity for yourself. If you're cleaning her house or you're helping with her, you're getting some movement. But you must get your own sleep and you must take care of yourself, or you will not be able to help anyone else. And it's not being selfish. I hear that over and over again. If I take time for myself and I'm not helping the people that need me, then I'm being selfish. No, you're being selfish in the long run because you're going to burn out and then you can't help them either. So I want to encourage you to do that. David, should you stop gluten too in that diet? Well, gluten's not great for anyone, but if you have it once in a while, if you do not have a gluten sensitivity, if you haven't been tested and it shows that you have celiac disease or a gluten sensitivity, you can have it once in a while during the holidays. I would say take those enzymes I'm talking about. There's one called glutenzyme, and that enzyme is specifically helps you break down that gluten for whenever you want to to break down gluten when you are having it. It's not healthy. It's not healthy, but sorry, I'm trying to read everybody's questions too. It's not healthy. Stay away from it when you can, but I don't think we have to be as diligent as some other people out there are saying. If you can stay away from it and not feel like your quality of life's going down, then do it. What power plate do you recommend? That's Michelle. It is the actual power plate. They have the technology that was patented by NASA. It's the same technology when the astronauts go in space and they come down and they have osteoporosis or osteopenia because they didn't have their weight bearing. That's the technology that you want. There are a lot of other devices out there. I have looked into them. I've looked at their technologies and they cannot show me the science where they are increasing bone mineral density. And so for now, I will tell you the one that I know that can do it is the actual power plate brand. And Michelle said, is there a place we can watch the replay? I got on late and want to share all this. Yeah, Tarna's going to be able to get you all of the replays and everything that you need to be able to go and see this as many times as you want. I think that there's a portal and you can keep watching it, and we'd love for you to share it. If you find it helpful, please share it with those that you love. That's how I can start helping more people. So I appreciate that. Summer Ray, love listening to you. Wealth of information, help me to get better. Thank you, Summer. I want all of your categories to be 10s. We're getting there, and I appreciate you making the comment. Thank you. Julia Hildebrand, should we stay away from natural flavors? Yes. So when something says natural flavors, that was a good catch on your part. There's a lot of things that are natural, a lot of bad things. Molds are natural. Bacteria is natural. And so natural flavors is a place that sometimes there are hidden things in there that shouldn't be there. I don't like seeing it. If I do see it on a product and I like that product, I'm going to ask the manufacturer to give me the breakdown of what those natural factors are, natural flavors are. What I do with all the supplements that I recommend, or any coffees, products, all these things I'm talking to you about, is that I require a certificate of analysis. That gets my stamp of approval. That means they've tested it, that it has in the product what it says it has. First of all, it doesn't have something that looks like it, or it's not even there, or that they've also, or that they have tested for molds, bacteria, heavy metals, leads, things that shouldn't be in there. So anything you decide to put in your body or on your body on a daily basis, it's up to you, or you can put that back on me. If it's got my stamp of approval, I've done it for you. Is make sure you're asking for the certificate of analysis, looking for things that shouldn't be there and guaranteeing that things are there that should be there. But natural flavors is a good place to hide some things that they don't want you to necessarily see. Good question. Michelle, is using a microwave okay to use? Don't like it. I mean, once a while in a pinch, okay, but it cooks it from the inside out. Nutrient depletion. There's a lot of things. I mean, the closer to nature that we can get, the better. We want live foods. I want live salads, things and things that are alive and have their own enzymes in it and growing. So if it's not live, cooking it on the stove or in the oven is better. The lower the heat, the better. The higher the heat, you destroy the nutrition that we're trying to get from those foods. And that brings us to good oils and doing coconut oil and avocado oil and those things to cook with this too. So I really stay away from microwave as much as possible. It's rare that I use mine. I wish I could use that place in my kitchen for something else. Sharon, should we eliminate food and drinks that contain lectins? Okay. So that is a big area. You're hearing other doctors out there that are talking about lectins. There is, in research, we call it a signal. That means we are seeing something, and we may not know yet. I'm of the take, I still think if you have been tested and you know that you're not sensitive to tomatoes that are high in lectins, that they have a lot of benefits. They have things that help prostate in men, lycopenes, they have antioxidants. So I would say, how do you feel in eating the lectin foods? If you take them out and you feel better, okay, maybe for you that would be all right. But I don't think for most people at this point, with the knowledge that I have and the science that I have researched, I'm not for you taking out all lectins. I'm just not. But see how you feel, do it. And I would encourage you more to test food sensitivities to see your particular blood, your blood in a dish. Does it cause the red blood cells to stick together and cause inflammation? That's what we're trying to stay away from. We're trying not to put it in something that causes inflammation. And so the whole lectin idea is inflammatory and the things that are associated with it. But I would prefer a particular food with your blood and not be guessing and making sure that we know whether it causes inflammation or not. So hopefully that is helpful for all of you. I want to encourage you during the holidays to, or anytime, but during the holidays, most people, the average, and again, this is common, shouldn't be normal, but the average person gains anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds every year. If you do that every year, you're battling. So enjoy the foods on the days of, or during a party, or on the days that you're having a party. But I will say that you need to be more diligent on the days going up to it and afterwards. Maybe you start to eat a little less, you clean it up, and you get started beforehand. And having a few bad days of eating, and especially if you take those digestive enzymes, should allow you not to gain those little extra few pounds. That is common, but not normal. So Tarna, how are we doing?
There are a few more questions there.
Okay.
Before we do go into those last 3 questions, you guys have got just another couple of moments while Dr. Worden is live with us today to pop in any final questions. So we'll come back to Sharon and Personal Touch Service Solutions here just in a moment, and as well as Aisha. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know that we are going to be live with Dr. Worden again. Well, Dr. Worden is going to be live again for you on Sunday, December 18th. So just 2 days from now at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The team is going to put that link to get the reminder in the chat. She will be live on all of the same platforms that you're seeing her live on today. So don't hesitate to just go over to that particular profile or page and mark the reminders to get notified and get reminded, or even put it on your calendar. But on Sunday 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She is going to go deeper into our mental states and brain health, relationships, and spiritual health. So she wants to ask some questions about how is your clarity, how is your cognition, how is your focus. Some of those you see are going to see that are going to relate back to the conversation even today with our sleep and our energy. And I already know because I've listened to Dr. Worden for a couple of years now. But what about your personal and your professional relationships? What are they impacting? Because of course, again, everything she talked about today is correlated to all of those pieces as well. So start thinking through those questions. And if that's something that you even have a question on right now that comes up, put it in the chat. The team will capture it for you. So that way we can share it with you. Again, that's going to be this Sunday, the 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Replays are always going to be available to the best of our abilities. We will make sure that they're available for you on the platform that you're joining us from today. And next Wednesday, Dr. Worden is going to bring it all together for you with how it impacts your gut and your immune system and how your relationships, your mental state, your energy, your body, your sleep, your exercise. She's going to be bringing that home for you. And again, I think that we all heard her loud and clear today, myself included. She continued to remind us exercise. And I think what she's saying there, or the place that I have as the takeaway, is our bodies are amazing machines when we give them the right conditions, and we got to move them around. There's a lot of processes that are going to happen in our body, but if we're not moving it. So I heard you loud and clear today, Dr. Worden. I'll be making more of a commitment there myself. But
I won't make so much doing all this.
Yeah, that's okay. Right now I got to sit a little more. But next Wednesday, December 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to come back together to bring it all home, talk about what are some of the roots of the problem. And we want to, think about what time of year we're at. We're in that period of time where we know we are going into those parties and those extra plates of food. But right after that, we usually go back into a bit of a shedding process, or we start to make some resolutions or some new commitments for the coming year. And so some of these questions and conversations are meant to spark that for you and for you to start thinking. So tonight, when you're going to sleep, listening to Barry Goldstein's music, we hope you hear Dr. Worden in your head. And as you're making those little tiny commitments for yourself, that you're making them with some sound and solid information. All right, so we've got time for just a couple more questions, Dr.
Okay.
Worden.
Okay.
I'm going to pop the first one up, and I think that's Aisha.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on consuming organic soy products like tofu? Sorry. So again, if you are not sensitive to soy, okay. The second is we know that some people, soy can actually jumpstart certain cancers. In other people, soy can actually be protective against cancer. So you should be confused. And we don't know that yet. So I'm back to my moderation thing. If you have soy once in a while, enjoy it. It could be protective and it could be a little bit harmful. I do like the idea that it's organic. That was a good thought, but in moderation until we can test to know, is soy good for you as an individual? Next one, should we stay away from seafood due to mercury and various contaminants? I'm back to my rotation. The good things for us in seafood we need. Rotate them, rotate them, rotate them. And yes, they're full of mercury. They're full of contaminants, PCPs, all the things from the farmed fish and all that. But what are you going to do? We've got to breathe air, which is toxic, highly toxic. We've got to drink water, and hopefully you're purifying it, and we have to eat. Rotating your foods is one of the best things you can do, but you should also, if you are eating a lot of seafood, and I love seafood, I know that my body's not the best chelator. Pretty good, but not great. I test my heavy metals, and if they are high, then I detox. So I determine, for me and for some of my patients have said, we believe the health benefits of the fish and the enjoyment of it, of the seafood, is worth having to go through a few weeks or a month once a year to get those toxins back into a normal level and get those heavy metals out of there. Do I have an opinion about breath work like Wim Hof or using ice baths for health? That's a huge topic, and I will go into that in future videos and things, educational platforms with you. Breath work is fantastic. I like the book Breathe by James Nestor. In fact, he's a personal friend, and I really support his work. So any of you that are interested, get James Nestor's book called Breathe. That'll go into the different types of breath work. I don't think you have to do Wim Hof, but it's great. Barry, who you met earlier in the program, he does Wim Hof most mornings with a men's group on Zoom. It's really great. So if we have a whole group of you that want to start doing breath work together, we'll put you together, and we can use music, Barry's music, do some of the different types of breath work. So if you're interested in that and exploring different ways of doing breath work and being part of that kind of community, I'm coming up with this at the top of my head, Tarna. So, but anyway, I do think that's important, and it would be fun. Maybe we make our own community, and I know the different types of breath work, and we could experiment with them and have some fun doing so and do some meditation together. As far as ice baths, it's a big rave right now. I know many, many people doing ice baths. It can be for certain people dangerous. If you do not know your cardiovascular health, if you don't know that for sure that you don't have an aneurysm, if you don't have some cardiovascular issue, then I think contrast hydrotherapy has been used for centuries as part of my naturopathic degree. That's one of the first things we learned about, but it was contrasting hot, cold, always ending cold. I think it's beneficial. I think it's great, but we've got to be careful with the severely cold temperatures with certain people. It could actually be dangerous. That again is individualized medicine. Is it good for you? And tips on getting our bodies to a more alkaline state. I like water that not is too alkaline. If you go too alkaline, it doesn't allow your body to go through one of the stages of cleaning. In fact, some people had they have this certain water systems that were alkalinizing their water so much that they were getting fungal infections, and so were their pets. And it was because they didn't let the acid alkaline perfectly normal structure go through the body. So too much of anything is not great. You want a little more alkaline, eat more vegetables. That's the way to do it, the safest way. And Summer is saying zinc can cause a depletion in copper, or the other way around. And what can we do to balance it out? Eat more vegetables again, and be careful on the multivitamins. A lot of the times, I recommend women and men, but I will say postmenopausal women who no longer are having their menses, and men, if they're eating vegetable, there's no reason to have iron in a multivitamin, and there's no reason to go high levels of copper, especially if you live in Arizona or some other state that has a lot of copper coming into our food and our water. Then I like recommending a multivitamin without copper. So again, individualized. Zinc, anything, Summer, that you're going to do a bunch of, like we call it monotherapy, doing zinc every day, all the time. Not unless you've shown that you were deficient in that. It should be used during cold and flu season, or when you think you're getting sick or you've been exposed. But doing one high dose of anything, monotherapy, is always a gamble. So I'll leave you with that. And I'm so thankful for all of you who showed up today and your questions. Get the questions to us ahead of time for next time and for future. And I want to do more of these. It's so enjoyable to me because I can only see so many people in a week, so many patients and so many clients. Even though they're all over the world and I do Zoom, there's only so many hours. This is the way I can really reach more of you and give more information. So please share. Thank you all very much. Tarna.
Well, and thank you, Dr. Worden. And it's so amazing to what you just closed with there of how individualized it is. That you cannot have just one question and one answer, and it's the same for all of us. And I think that other last takeaway that we'll leave you with today is balance. I kept hearing Dr. Worden saying that, and I think that we all could probably agree to some effect that there is magic that happens when you bridge the science and just the overall understanding that Dr. Worden has. And thank you for your patience with us here today to answer some of of our questions. I know questions are still coming in. We appreciate that, you guys. We do have to let Dr. Worden back to her day. Again, we're going to be back here again, Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and again on Sunday at 5 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
if
thank
they
you.
join us, if they join us on Sunday, Tarna, what I want to ask, put in the chat, did you take away something for your body or your sleep that moved your number up a little bit? Please share that with us. Tell us on Sunday.
Awesome. 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 Or even tell us tomorrow on the replay if something
Oh, there
magical
you go.
happens tonight. Yep. Wonderful. Again, thank you all so much for being here with us. We will see you again on Sunday. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.